Hi, so I'm sure many of you have learned that Gmail, as well as Yahoo and other mail hosting providers, are toughening up their measures against spam. So, what does this mean? We're going to discuss this today, and I'm going to explain to you what it means and what needs to be done. Let's first take it step by step. So, first thing, let's look at what Google is saying about it. So, if you look here, against their fight for spam, they're going to focus on email validation, which is a great thing to do. And then new requirements for bulk senders. The bulk senders are these third-party software that you use for your newsletter to keep your subscribers informed or to send mass emails of any kind. So these are like Mailchimp, Constant Content, MailerLite, and the likes of that. Enable easy unsubscription. So enable easy unsubscription and ensure that what you're sending to the people is actually email that they want, something they have subscribed for, or that you're actually sending to people who you know, you've dealt with, their clients, their prospect clients. There has been some kind of conversation between you and them before. So to avoid this being a spammy email. So if you look at it back to front, so number 3, yes, make sure that you're only sending to people who you know, either they are subscribers, their clients, that they're acquaintances, or they're someone that you've had some connection to. Number 2 is enable easy unsubscription. If you're using Mailchimp or Constant Contact or any of those third-party mailers, they already automatically add an unsubscribe link to every message that is sent. All you need to do is to test it. So make sure that your unsubscription actually works. And then the first one, which is the mail authentication, is the point that we will discuss more today. So what is the word authentication? What does it mean? You know, when you go somewhere, let's say you're going to pick up a package that has been left for you at the post office, and they ask you to show them your ID to make sure that you are whoever you say you are, and so that they can give you the package which was addressed to your name. So this way, the person at the post office is actually authenticating you. The same thing happens with email. So the first thing is, when we talk about email authentication, we are not talking about emails that are sent from your personal email. So this is not when you're sending a message from Google, from like your Gmail to somebody. This is more like the emails that are sent from your business email account, which is an email account that is connected to your business domain name. So if my domain name is, mydomain.com, and my email will be amer@mydomain.com. If I use amer@mydomain.com, that's a business address, that's an email that is linked to my domain name, then for any application that I will use to send email, this application has to have the right to send the email on behalf of my domain. So this way, this specific application is authenticated. So this is exactly what we mean by authenticating your email. So let's have a quick look at Mailchimp. So if you go to your Mailchimp account, I'm gonna use Mailchimp because it's the one that I'm using, but you guys can find the same setting in whichever bulk email application that you use. If you go to Mailchimp and then you click on your photo there, and then you go to profile, and then inside the profile you have these settings, and you click on domains, and this would show you the list of domains that are connected to your Mailchimp account, and they will tell you here whether you have already authenticated the domain or not. If you have, it will show as authenticated. If you haven't, it will give you some instructions here onto how you can authenticate your bulk mailer. Usually, when you authenticate a mail sender through your domain, this requires you to create some DNS account. Sorry. So usually in order to authenticate your email and in order to authenticate any application or software that you want to use to send email from your domain, you will need to create a specific DNS record. Sometimes it's one record, sometimes it's more than one record. So some applications would ask you to create 3 records, other applications would ask you to create 5, some applications would ask you to create 1, but it doesn't matter. So this but the way you do it is exactly the same. So let me do something silly here. I'm going to remove my authentication. Oh no, that's removing the domain. I'm going to disable the authentication and then try it one more time. See here where it says it needs authentication. So let's start the authentication process and see what Mailchimp wants me to do. So the first thing it will ask you, where is your email? Who is your domain, like your email domain provider? This is usually either. So here I'm gonna see if I have Cloudflare because my DNS is on Cloudflare, or I'm gonna just go and then go down all the way and maybe say other. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I can just choose any. So let's go all the way, see the options. There is other. So I'm going to say other, click on next. Now it's explaining to me what needs to be done. So you need to go to your name server, which is the server that controls your DNS. Yes, and then create those custom records. Fine. What are the records that you, Mr. Mailchimp, want me to create? So it's asking me to create CNAME records. So every DNS record has a type. There are different types of DNS records. And in this specific authentication process, Mailchimp is asking me to create some CNAME records, right? So let's go and do that. But before I go, I need to find out what am I creating. So it's 2 CNAME records. This is record number 1 here. This is record number 2. And then for each of these 2 records, you have a name and a value. So let's start the process. Let me copy the first one, name. So I'm going to go to my DNS. This is my name server. I'm going to look for the relevant domain name. Just give it time to load. And now I'm going to create a DNS record. So I'm going to click on DNS here from the Cloudflare management. Your DNS or name server, the way it works and the way you can create records, the records are just text records. So all the DNS or all the name servers use the same way to create records. I prefer using Cloudflare. It has some advantages. If you have taken my course, which is the DNS and email deliverability course, you see my full explanation as to why I think Cloudflare is a great DNS management tool. And also you'd see how I explain where you can find the name server for your domain in case you didn't know or you're unsure where to go and create those records, right? So these are the records there. Let's start by creating the CNAME. So add a record, and then from the type over here, I'm gonna go and check, choose CNAME, and here's the name that I just copied, right? Now, what you can see here, it's already adding the domain name in my record, but I don't want that because the domain name is already up here. So Cloudflare will add it. I don't want it to be added twice. So I'm just gonna delete that part and just keep k2._domain key, right? And then in the target, I'm gonna go and copy the value. So this is the one, this is the value. Now remember that my domain was already authenticated before. and there's a chance when I try to create this record, it will not save and it will tell me that it already exists. So let's see. Oh, it took it. So the new authentication is a little bit different. That's fine. Let's go and create record number 2. So here again, remember, I don't want to take the domain name with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy just this part, K3 dot, and go back, add a record, choose CNAME, the exact same thing we did before. And then go here, copy the value, come back here, and paste the value. Now you'd have seen me in the last time I did this, I switched the proxy status off. Cloudflare has this proxy status thing. And again, I'm not going to explain it right now because this will be a distraction from what we're trying to do. But I do have a couple of videos explaining why I use Cloudflare and how Cloudflare works and what this means. But for this specific step, we need to switch it off. And I'm going to save. Now that I save these 2 records, I want to go back to my Mailchimp and click on next. Now the last thing is it's asking you to make sure or to create a demarc record, which is a demarcation record. And as you can see, it's giving you these 2, again, a host or a name and a value. I'm pretty sure I have a demarc record already, so I'm just going to go and check. The demarc record is a text record. So I'm going to go to my text records. Text. Funny enough, I don't have one for this specific domain, which I should. Everyone should have at least a default demarc record. So let's do this. I'm going to say add. I'm going to choose text from that list, txt, and I'm going to copy the demarc part here and the value. And let's do that. Let's put this here and click on save, and this should do it. Here it is. Pretty good. So let's go here. Let's go next. Perfect. And all what I need to do after that is to get Mailchimp to check the status. This specific step actually takes a little bit of time, so you probably wouldn't get a success right away after clicking check status. It could take a day, it could take an hour, it could take up to a couple of days. Any change that you do in your DNS may take a couple of days to reflect. We call this the DNS propagation. Most of the applications that we use and most of the DNS management tools that we use are almost instant, but you need to understand that it could take up to 2 days. It's normal. It can take up to 48 hours. So I'm going to leave it there. This actually concludes what I need to do with my third-party mailer application or my bulk mailer app. Before we go, since we are already checking email authentication, I just want to show you a couple more things in my DNS that are email related. So 2 very important records. These records are important for your email deliverability in general. They're not just tied to your bulk mailing application, but they're very important for you to have in order for your domain name and business email to have a good deliverability score, and in order for any emails that you send, even the emails that you send from your regular account, not the bulk mailer, it's important for them to be deliverable and to get to their intended inboxes. The first one is the SPF record. So as you can see, it's a text record, and then it looks like this. And this you'll get from your mail hosting company. It will tell you exactly what you want to put in here. And it's a copy and paste. You just take it from the authentication process of your mail hosting. And then the other one is called the domain key or the DKIM, which I can show you here again. So this is the one. And again, these values, like the name that you put in here and the value that you have in there, will come from wherever you're hosting your email. This is mega, mega important for you to have in order for your emails to be deliverable. So this concludes today's video. If you need any support, help, you have a question, you need someone to help you get this email authentication, shoot me an email, guys. It's Amr, AMR, at humantalents.ca. I'm going to put this email right on the video. Thank you. See you in the next one.